Hello there, and welcome to Live Music and Me, a series of music podcasts where we ask our friends to come on and talk about their gig memories. On today's episode, we were joined by the singer-songwriter Xan Tyler. We're big fans of Xan, love her music both on record and live, and it was great to hear her talk about her gig memories. As ever, as well as talking about the gig memories, we went off piste a little bit and managed to fit in a chat about Wham and Duran tribute bands and how to use a bit of female intuition to procure the best seats at a gig at Ronnie Scotts and everything in between. Really good fun. Zam is in top form, and she mentioned she got some new music coming out soon as well, which is something to look forward to. Hope you'll enjoy this one. Until the next time, stay safe. All the best. Zan, good evening. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thanks. You all right?
Not bad, not bad. How's your day been?
It's been good. It's been busy, but good. Yeah, not bad. What about yourself?
Not bad, thank you. Yeah, a bit of golf, dodged the weather for
Oh,
a couple of hours, which in the winter's unusual.
yeah, it's quite nice today. Nice day for
Wasn't bad.
golf. Yeah.
Wasn't bad. Dodged the weather at the golf, then get soaked walking the dog. So that's a trade-off, isn't it?
There you go,
So
karma.
indeed it is. It's particularly in Greenock because it rains in Greenock 80% of the time. So
Oh, right. Oh, yeah, yeah. Well,
yeah, I know that's why the River Clyde's always so full.
no.
Right. So are you good to do live music in me? We'll have a go at this.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay, magic. Okay then. So let's start off with hopefully a nice easy one for you. So tell us about the first gig that you went to.
It's a bit of a mad one actually because I ended up at my first ever gig was Queen. Big country, status quo, supporting Queen at Knebworth. And my
Wow.
yeah, I mean, there was probably some little pub gig somewhere, that I don't remember. But that is the first gig I remember going to. And it came about because my mum's boyfriend at the time got us tickets, me and my bestie mate, and took us, and off we went. And it was like mind blowing because it was huge. I mean, and then I just thought all gigs were like that, thousands of people.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a pretty good first gig. Yeah.
And when would that have been?
I don't know exactly. I should probably have looked that up. Maybe it's mid 80s, but I don't know exactly.
Maybe 80s, right?
Yeah,
So,
mid
so
80s.
kind of round about Live Aid time, that kind of period
What
where
was Live Age? Was that 84?
85, I think. Yeah,
Oh yeah, not around that, I would have
yeah.
thought. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because Queen were huge, weren't they, around that time?
Massive.
Yeah.
Massive.
Did
Yeah,
you like
yeah.
them, Queen?
I mean, I wasn't like, it wasn't my favorite band or anything,
Right.
but I appreciated how amazing they were even then,
Yeah.
And then seeing them live, it's a different experience, isn't
Mm,
it? You see something live and you get a new respect for it,
yeah.
and it did blow my mind, and yeah, so I've have sort of been a bit of a Queen fan ever since,
Yeah.
it's
But
sort
bit
of
of a
can't
guilty
help
secret.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
yeah.
who was your favourite band on the day? Do you remember?
I don't remember anything about Big Country, I'm ashamed to
Right.
say.
Tut
Uh,
tut.
we might have even got there. I don't know. I
Right.
mean, I was young and it's a blur.
Yeah.
I don't remember getting there. I don't even really remember this boyfriend because my mum had a few boyfriends, and I don't really remember which one it was. But I know one of them took us. So we were with a responsible adult, and I just remember having a brilliant time with my bestie. Actually, that was
Okay.
my main memories of it. We were just having such a blast,
Yeah. How
and feeling very grown up, for
how
being.
far back were you?
What do you mean? At what age we were?
No, from the
Oh,
from the
how about in the
stage. Yeah,
crowd?
because it was a big
Um,
crowd, wasn't it?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
massive.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, pretty far back.
Mm.
Yeah, because I think we probably were, trying to be kept safe, so we weren't like right in the
Yeah.
mosh pit or anything.
Yeah.
If you have a mosh pit at a Queen gig, doesn't
I'm not sure you do, no.
But like I say, it's a fuzzy memory.
Yeah.
I can't say I remember really specific things about the gig or any specific songs, or I remember what Freddie looked like
Hmm.
on the day, and I you
Hmm.
know and I remember just it was the crowd, the people watching, and the
Yeah.
spectacle, and the I don't know, maybe that planted a bit of a seed as well in terms of, because I
Maybe.
wasn't sort of born to do music. Like, I didn't always know I was going to do music. I kind of fell into it a wee bit, but
Okay.
maybe there was a bit of that little Freddie
Mm,
seed was planted, and
absolutely.
thought, oh, yeah, I want a bit of this. This
I
is
can do that.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, not that I've
Fantastic.
ever played to a crowd that big.
Who knows? Not yet. right?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay then, a great one to start. So what about the last gig that you went to?
The most recent gig I went to that I wasn't involved with
Mm-hmm.
was Celtic Connections,
Mm-hmm.
and it was Boohoo Adine, John Douglas,
Oh,
and Kirsten Adamson, who is Stuart Adamson's daughter from Big Country. So there you
yeah,
go, it ties
that's
in.
perfect. That's a
Yeah,
lovely
yeah.
tie up that.
It is, isn't it? And it was
Yeah,
a lovely evening. Because Boo is my friend. He produced my album, and
you
he's
did.
he's
Yeah.
my pal, and I know John as
Just,
well. Ah,
just in case, because you know the last night from Glasgow guys, we love that very much. So,
yeah,
so yeah,
yeah.
it's a great album, and I know Blue produced that, which is lovely.
He
So,
did, yeah. So, and I was the John who plays guitar with me. He lives around the corner from Cottiers where they were playing. So we were
yeah,
rehearsing that night, and I was like, well, I've got to go and do the gig as well. So it was a really nice evening. I did a rehearsal and then went over and enjoyed their gig
yeah,
and hung out a wee bit with them. And
good.
then John, halfway through one of his songs, forgot the words to one of his verses. So Eddie jumps up.
Yeah.
Eddie Reader jumps up and helps him
Oh,
with his verse. So that was a nice little moment. Yeah, it was a really nice gig.
yeah.
I hadn't seen Kirsten Adamson before. She was very good. I enjoyed her a
She's
lot.
very good, and I was a
Um,
big country fan back in the day as well. And it's amazing how similar, not just how she looks. Obviously, she's female, but her
uh,
kind of bone structures and stuff are very
oh,
similar to her
really?
dad.
Right,
But
okay.
also, she's got this kind of like cool, quite emotional, but quite kind of cool by it.
Yeah,
Which her dad was very much like that. He
right,
always just looked amazing.
right.
So it's quite interesting when you watch her. We can't help but sort of think back a little bit to when her
Yeah.
dad was playing, which is
I
lovely.
gather she didn't used to do his songs until
That's
quite
right.
recently she
Yeah.
started doing them. So I was
I
quite
actually seen her. The
surprised.
first time I seen her was with the Countess of Fife.
Oh, wow,
She
okay.
plays with Faye Fife and the guys sometimes. So
Oh, right. Oh, I didn't know
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Oh,
she's yeah, which are another great band. So
another good band,
cool.
yeah.
That's lovely. Sorry, I
And
missed
I
that
live
one.
in Fife.
And you live in Fife, so
I live in
you
Fife.
should be you could get a walk on with that. Or
Yeah,
if you're living there, yeah,
I'd hope so.
yeah, get to do some tambourines or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you never know. Okay then, so what about a gig that you travelled the furthest to get to?
This one had me a bit stumped because I just don't know, really, is the
Okay.
short answer. I mean, really can't remember. But I can tell you the gig that I travelled the furthest to do,
Okay.
which was I did one gig in Oman in Muscat,
Right.
which is, Middle East.
It is.
Three flights there and three flights back. So we flew, sound checked, did the gig, slept for a few hours, and did three flights back.
Wow. You have to tell me, how did that come about then? A gig like that?
Well, the mad thing is, it was a tribute band. It wasn't, it was like, just, I don't even remember what the event was. I know it was in a hotel, in a compound, in a hotel. And this band that I was in used to get it was a bread and butter gig that I did, back
Hmm.
in in a tribute band.
Yeah.
And they used to get some very unusual sort of, but always really well paid. So
Yeah.
it was, I wouldn't have done it if it wasn't worth lots of money.
Absolutely not. And what was the tribute band? What were they
Wham,
tributing? Wham.
WhamDuran.
Oh, excellent.
Yes,
Oh,
they're still
well.
going. They're still going. And actually,
Oh,
I'm friends with some of them, and they're lovely people. They're still doing their thing.
well, like
And
that.
I did do a lot of covers and tribute bands back in the day because it paid really
Yeah,
well, and you don't make money in original music.
totally. Yeah.
So that was
Yeah.
always my best paychecks were doing those gigs.
And also good fun as well, I'm guessing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, really good fun. We did like Oxford and Cambridge
Yeah.
balls. I was in quite a few different tribute bands, so at one point I was in about three or four, so it was really busy. But yeah, amazing fun gigs like going to Oman for the night, but also like Oxford and Cambridge balls and Freshers
Yeah.
balls, and and at the time tribute bands were quite cool. It was just
Yeah.
sort of when they just sort of started
Yeah.
being a thing, so people were really into them. Yeah,
Okay. Cool. That's magic. Thanks for
yeah.
that. What about the first gig you went to with a partner?
I don't know about the first partner, but I was thinking about with my current partner, my
That's fine.
husband.
That's okay.
and again, it's a bit of a cop-out answer because it's about a gig that I was doing, but it is kind of funny because we had sort of just got together and we were at that like really lovey-dovey stage where you don't want to be apart even for a minute.
Okay.
And I was like, I've got to go to New York. I'm going to New York to do a gig, so we're going to have to like, separate for a few days, and
Yeah.
I'm off to do this. And he was like, I'll come. I was like, really? And he was like, yeah, let's do it. I was like, okay. So
Yeah.
he booked a flight and came to do this gig. I was in this band Technique, which was
Yeah.
Creation Records, and it was
Absolutely. Yeah.
electric pop duo. And so the gig, I ended up through this gig, convincing my husband that I was really cool, right? Because the gig actually was really cool. It was in like New York, East Village or whatever. Alan McGee was DJing.
Yeah.
Evan Bando was there. Peaches was there. Like it was just like a
Yeah.
mad celebrity, crazy night. Don't remember much else about the gig, and then we went off and had a really nice time in New York. But it was just like, okay, this is our first little outing
Absolutely.
together.
Yeah.
I remember
That's
thinking,
a big commitment.
I've fooled him into thinking I'm really cool.
Not at all. You are very cool. I mean, and Technique were, to be fair, they had their moment, didn't they, really?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
did. We did. We
Yeah.
had a lot of
And some
fun.
really couple of nice, cool videos and stuff for you driving around. I don't know where that is, the Alps or something, is it?
That was in Monaco,
Monaco,
in the
was it?
sports
Right.
car, and then there was the Learjet,
Yeah, absolutely.
which was fun. Yeah. No, we
Maybe
had a
you,
blast.
maybe get back to doing that again. Maybe could Ian maybe do some Learjet stuff for you? For
Yeah,
last,
yeah.
yeah.
I'm sure he's got a budget for that. Somewhere. Yeah.
Listen,
Oh,
nothing.
it's not going to be a Learjet. What can it be? We've done a sports car and a Learjet. What's
Yeah,
the next thing? A helicopter, a
tank,
yacht,
tank.
a tank. Oh, I like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Can go
Yeah,
any
so,
tank can go anywhere, can't it? Yeah,
yeah. Just ride over the top of lots of
straight over.
things and
Oh, there's a
blow
few
some
few
stuff
places
up.
I wouldn't mind doing that. To be fair.
Yeah, true.
Okay, that's cracking then, gig, and it obviously worked for you because it's
We got married,
yeah, exactly.
and he's still not sussed it.
Very good. Okay, what about like a bucket gig in the past that you wish you'd had managed to get to?
Yeah. So first thought was Dusty Springfield.
Right.
That would be what would that be? 1979. That would be
Okay.
at the Albert Hall. That's meant to be one of her
Yeah.
greatest. And I love Dusty Springfield.
Mm,
Love Dusty.
absolutely.
But also, if I'm allowed to have two answers, I have
Yeah.
just seen, or a couple of weeks ago, A Complete Unknown. So I'd quite
Yeah.
like to go to the Newport Folk Festival in 1960. What year was it?
Five, I think.
Five, four,
Yeah.
five. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'll have that one as well, please.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'd take that.
Yeah.
The film's great, isn't it?
It's so good. Like,
Yeah.
I really didn't expect to love it as much as that. In fact, it was really nice because I sing sometimes with a folk duo, Naomi Bedford and Paul Simmons, right? And
Okay.
Paul Simmons is from The Men They Couldn't Hang.
Yep.
And in my mind, one of the greatest songwriters in the
Yep.
UK. And he's a massive Bob Dylan nerd, right?
Okay.
Massive.
Yeah.
So we did Celtic Connections, and then the next day we all went on, a big row of us and went to see that, which was lovely. And so I was sort of sitting there next to, one of the greatest songwriters who's really influenced by Bob Dylan too.
Sure.
And I was thinking if there's anything incorrect in this film, Paul will spot it.
Yeah.
So that was really nice. And then we sat down afterwards and had a good old dissect. And all of us said we wanted to watch it again immediately.
Right.
And Paul had said that Bob Dylan had requested one untruth to be in it. Like there has to be one flat out lie in it.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, did you spot that straight away? And he was like, yeah. And I kind of thought I knew what it was too, actually. And I'm not a massive Dylan
Yeah.
nerd.
What was it then? Do you remember?
It's just the name change.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
Sylvie. They
Yeah.
called her Sylvie, didn't they? And
Yeah.
her name was, not that. What's her name? I've forgotten it now. Anyway, that wasn't her name.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
interesting. So you take Dusty in 79 or you go back to Helen in
Yeah.
64,
Yeah.
65, right?
I'd like to know if it was that mad, as like they had it in the
Mm.
film. But according to Paul Simmons, it was pretty accurate. That was kind of how it played out on the night. Bob Dylan playing electric and how it went down. They were
It
just
was certainly, I mean, it's certainly groundbreaking, wasn't it? I think,
yeah.
whatever you did or didn't think about him at the time, it was such a shock to the people that were there that I
Yeah.
think that reaction was a fairly natural reaction for them. So
Yeah, it was what it
yeah,
was wild to them that this
yeah,
was, and it was all the purists. And anyway, yes, I love that film. I
yeah, me
absolutely
too.
loved it, and I can't wait to see it again.
Yeah, me too. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's two great answers. What about a gig that that maybe surprised you, good or bad? So you went along thinking, I don't know, whatever you
yeah.
were thinking, but it was like better or worse maybe than.
I'll do good and bad.
Go on then, that's good. Yeah, we'll take
So
that.
bad
Yeah.
was Amy Winehouse.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because Amy was amazing, but not
Hmm.
that night.
Right.
And I guess it depended on what sort of a night you got her on in terms of
Yeah.
she was pretty out of it, and it was sad, and it was horrible,
Yeah.
and it was unpleasant to watch the others on stage, and I'm sure they were used to dealing with it, but I've never been in a band with anyone that out of it, but I have been in bands where people are losing it for where they've had a few too many or whatever. And that feeling on stage where you're kind of like trying to keep it together for that person, and you could just feel it from the crowd. It
Yeah.
was not nice to watch. It was difficult.
Oh, that's a shame. Where was that, Zan?
It was at Tea in the Park, and I don't remember the year.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
I guess early. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
remember the year.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's a shame. What about the good one then?
And the good one was it was This Is the Kit. And I wasn't sort
Hmm.
of expecting to particularly be into
Hmm.
her. It was a solo show, so it was
All right.
Kate
Okay.
on her own. And I didn't really know very much about her, and apart from I wasn't expecting much, and she was supporting Anais Mitchell, who I'm really, really into.
Hmm.
And but yeah, she blew me away. She was really, really good.
Right.
Yeah. I
That's
came
interesting.
away just sort of I think we had a little chat, and she was just such a lovely person too. And I
Yeah.
came away just like raving about her to everybody.
Yeah. And what was it you think that, made you so impressed by the gig? Was it?
It was at the Toll Booth in Stirling, which is a really
Hmm.
intimate venue, and it's quite, as a performer, it's very in your face. Like the
Yeah.
crowd, you can hear a pin drop, and they're very attentive, and it's all
Yeah.
seated, and there's no background noise, and so it's quite, So she held the room beautifully. I mean, she
Okay.
was pretty experienced by then anyway, and there's no reason why she wouldn't. But she just had everybody in her
Yeah.
mesmerized, and her stories were lovely, and her chat was great, and she just made you feel really comfortable.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, her songs are fun, and they've got lovely lyrics, and she's a very accomplished musician. Like
Hmm.
I never heard a bum note. She just
Yeah.
plays really, really well. So
Okay.
yeah, that was one of the surprise ones.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
that's good. Yeah. I've never seen her. But I heard she's very
I've
good.
seen her a
So
few times since, in different
no, I haven't seen her. So
scenarios.
I need to
Great
put that.
with a full band as well. Amazing.
Yeah, I need to put that in the list of many that I need to get to.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a ticket for a gig that you never got to?
Yeah, Bob Dylan, funnily enough.
No
I'm sounding
way.
like a massive Bob Dylan fan here. I mean, I do like Bob Dylan, but I
Yeah.
wouldn't want people to think I know lots about Bob. But yeah, I had tickets for Bob Dylan, and it was not the last time he played in Glasgow, but the time before.
Yep.
And I can't remember what stopped me going, probably a sick child, because that's usually what ruins your life, isn't it?
Absolutely.
When they get ill, when you're like
Um,
about to get on a plane or
yeah.
go to a gig,
Or go
even
and see Bob Dylan.
go.
Oh, what did you
So,
what did you do with the ticket?
it went to a friend, just
Right,
went.
good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The other one was it wasn't that I had tickets, but Doune The Rabbit Hole
Yep.
festival.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
had been going to that a fair bit, and the one year I didn't go, Patti Smith played, so I was
Oh,
really gutted about
oh.
that. Yeah,
She probably only played that once, maybe, I guess.
yeah. She
Yeah.
won't come back, will she? She won't be doing that. In fact, yeah.
Oh,
And the other one, I really love Aldous Harding, and I
yep.
had tickets for her, and then COVID happened, and then it got rescheduled, and somehow I managed to not write the rescheduled date in my diary, and then realised I'd literally just missed it,
Oh,
and I was at home drinking tea, and I had the
yeah.
ticket sat there, so that was a bit gutting. I have
Yeah.
seen her since, but
It's not so bad, I think, when you've seen them, because
yeah,
you think, okay, well, I missed it, but I've not missed the experience. I think if it's a one-off, like say Patti Smith at
yeah, and when
Doune The
people are
Rabbit Hole,
getting on with it.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
You
yeah.
don't want to be missing out on people that,
No, you don't. No,
you just never know, do you?
no. I flew back from Italy when I was living there to see the Proclaimers
Oh, wow.
at the Barrowlands, and I came back a week late.
Oh my God. Oh my God, that's a bad one.
And the PS to it was I'd bought 4 tickets, right? So all of the other 3 people were all still living in Glasgow, right? And when I was in Italy, somebody brought out the Sunday Mail. You know how you like to bring papers out sometimes. So they brought the Sunday Mail out, and there was a review of the Proclaimers playing the Barrowlands, a 5-star review. And I thought, that's weird playing like the Barrowlands twice in a week. I still didn't check, and my friends didn't check, and I
Oh my
wrote back, and
God.
that's why the question's in because it was one for
That's
me.
pretty special. That is
Terrible,
amazing.
absolutely terrible. I've not done that again.
No.
What about have you ever been to a gig and then not managed to catch the last bus or train home?
Could not think. But you know what? If I've missed the last bus or train, it was because I was having a really good time, which is why I don't remember. I'm sure I've done it lots of times, but
Yeah,
couldn't think of one. And I
have
could have
it.
made one up, but I thought, nah.
No, and you're probably better not thinking them up.
Yeah.
Just leave those memories over there somewhere.
Oh,
Yeah,
it will come to me tomorrow or at 3 o'clock in the morning. That's what
yeah,
happened. I'll wake up in the middle of the night and go, oh
yeah.
yeah.
Well, what I'll do is message me, and
Yeah.
I'll stick it on the editorial comment at the end for you. Okay?
Oh, okay.
As long as it's
I
a
thought you meant
story.
message you at 3 a.m.
No, no, don't do that, please. You won't get a reply. Yeah, do that. So, what about support acts? So, best support act or great support act that you saw?
Um,
So
what
you
was
went along to see, whoever, but
Yeah.
the
Again, you'd think this would be an easy one because I know I've seen
yeah,
lots of people that have blown me away in support acts, but nothing was coming to mind. The one that did come to mind was Asian Dub Foundation,
okay,
supporting Primal Scream,
yeah,
actually. Yeah, that I
yeah,
don't remember when that was, but I didn't really know much about them, and they were amazing,
yeah,
absolutely
yeah. I
amazing.
can imagine. No, not never seen them. Yeah,
I did expect when I read that question, I expected to have lots of
yeah,
things coming into my head, but for some reason I couldn't.
yeah.
They're
There'll be
three.
another one. You probably some of them you probably forgot they were supporting. You
Yeah,
maybe just saw them and thought they were great, but actually there was somebody else on after them. So
yeah, yeah. And I'm not very good at retaining stuff like that. I must admit,
yeah.
like I'll say somebody will mention something, I'll be like, oh yeah, I was at that, but I wouldn't remember otherwise, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah,
one of the things, I don't know if you were younger, you were saying, but I mean, if I've been honest, we missed a lot of support bands when we were
yeah,
younger.
yeah.
You would be out maybe having a drink and then
I
going
did
for the
that
main band. It's terrible. But now,
all.
as I got older, I'm trying to get the full set now as much as I possibly can do.
Yes,
So I
same.
remember
But
when
they absolutely, you're right. I probably missed them all. I
yeah,
was
you were
involved.
supporting the Blow Monkeys, weren't you, recently?
Yeah, yeah.
And I dragged all my friends along to make sure we could see you playing, right? Now, if it had been down to them, honestly, we would have been having at least one more drink, right?
Oh, well done.
But oh, it was great, and they loved it. So
Oh, good.
you just got to make the effort, right? That's
Yeah, it is worth it. And like you say, you see stuff that you wouldn't
totally, yeah,
usually. Yeah.
absolutely, totally. Okay, then. So music festivals. Let's be a bit Marmite music festival. So the best music festival that you've been to,
I am definitely more into small festivals,
right?
which is why I went to Doune The Rabbit Hole quite a lot
Yeah,
because I like that small, family-friendly vibe. Um, and as I get older, the festivals get smaller. I like them to. But
yeah.
Byron Bay Blues Festival sprang to mind,
Okay,
and saw Roy Ayers. Uh,
okay.
that was amazing.
Where is that? Sorry, son.
In
Byron Bay.
Australia, Byron
Australia.
Bay,
Of course, right. Of
Australia,
course. Yeah,
yeah, in
yeah.
Queensland,
Oh
Australia.
wow,
That was amazing
that'd
for
be
all the
magic.
reasons that you'd imagine. Just being, at a festival in another country is always exciting, isn't it? It's something
Yeah,
different.
yeah,
And it was an amazing festival. And we were there with our baby that's not a baby anymore.
yeah,
Yeah, it was just a really lovely
yeah,
experience.
yeah. Sounds
So that
magic.
one sprung to mind. And then other small festivals. There used to be a festival called the Big Tent in Falkland.
Right.
And it was tiny, tiny, and I loved it. And sadly, they stopped doing it. But one year, Roseanne Cash was there, and she was
Okay.
amazing.
Yeah.
And also, it's in Falkland, obviously, and it's that is where the Cash family are originally from.
Yeah.
She had all these wonderful stories
Yeah.
about, you know, Johnny being from
Yeah.
there, and that was really nice. So yeah,
Yeah. We're doing some stuff around Scottish songs at the moment on Twitter X, whole bunch of debate we're doing. And we keep trying to adopt Johnny Cash as being Scottish, because of his sort of family backstory and stuff,
yeah,
but we just
yeah,
can't get enough of a lineage to justify it, you know.
yeah.
But he has got
Well,
he's got a real tradition, hasn't he,
yeah,
into that
yeah.
part of Scotland for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. It
Yeah.
was a lovely festival that, and also it used to, when it finished at quite a reasonable early time, 11 o'clock or
Yeah.
something, because it was so small, everyone used to spill out into the street, in the main street in
Yeah.
Falkland, which is, I
Yeah.
don't know if you know Falkland, it's a
Yeah.
beautiful,
Yeah.
medieval looking place. It's
Yeah.
stunning.
Lovely.
And I remember sort of jamming around the fountain, and all the musicians had their, and it was just like turned into a big jam out in the street
Yeah.
after the festival.
That
It's
sounds
lovely.
magic. It's a
Yeah.
shame. It's a shame they're not still doing it.
Real shame,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know why that stopped.
Maybe you should have a word.
I will. I
Yeah.
will have a
Put that on
word.
your list. Right.
Yeah.
Put it on your list. So talking about performing and stuff then. So what about if I asked you about your own favourite gig as a performer?
Yeah, it's got to be my album launch last year.
Right.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was amazing. It was like nervous breakdown to organise, full on. And at certain points, I thought I'd bitten off more than I could chew. I really
Hmm.
did. I was like, oh, that's it. I've blown it, because it was so big and ridiculous. But anyway, so what I did, you showed the album cover there
Yeah.
before. That is a portrait painting
Yes.
done by a friend of mine, Joe Richards, who's an amazing artist based in London. So that was the sort of starting point. And then from that, I got the idea that maybe I would ask, I do know quite a lot of artists, whether I would ask them all or a few to do a painting for each song, so
Yeah.
that and I didn't really expect to get all of the songs, but I did.
Well.
So I ended up with a piece of physical art for each song. So then I was like, okay, how do we show this off?
Hmm.
Let's do an art exhibition. So I
Hmm.
do an art exhibition alongside the gig, the album launch gig. So then went on a bit of a mission to find the right venue, because obviously art exhibition, art galleries are not really ideal for having a gig in,
Yeah.
and gig venues are not really great for showing off art.
Yeah.
So it was finding the right place, and I wanted something that was a bit wow, and that's when I found Panopticon.
Hmm.
Have you been in there
I
at
haven't.
all?
No, I know of it. I've not been. No.
Yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful space. So it's an old music hall, and it's got all the original plasterwork, and it's crumbling in places, but they're lovingly keeping it all preserved, and
Yeah.
it's an amazing team of people that work there and keep it restored. But it had all these little quirks, like you couldn't make noise above a certain dB,
Right.
and they had a meter to check,
Right.
and you couldn't have the heating on because it would affect the plaster work.
Yeah.
And then I had to find how I was going to hang the actual art. So I say me and a team of amazing friends that helped me
Yeah.
created these big boards, covered boards, and each one had a gooseneck light over the top, and
Yeah.
it all looked spectacular. And each one had a plaque with the artist and a bit about it, and you could even listen to the song on each one. But it's when you get into something and you're like, oh, we could do this. Oh, we should
Yeah.
do that. And we just went yes to all of it. And
Yeah.
at sort of 6 o'clock in the evening, when half of the art wasn't even hung yet, and we'd barely sound checked, and the doors were opening at 7, and I was just like, what have I done? We sold out as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
And all these people were coming, and somehow, just in that last hour, some sort of magic stuff happened, and it just ping. And then the gig itself was really great, and everyone there was so into the idea. They all sort of enjoyed the art and had a
Yeah.
lovely glass of wine. And I had Nicola Megan playing,
Hmm.
DJing.
Yeah.
She kept everyone all kind of, warmed up. And I had Boo join me. as well to join us, the band,
Yeah.
and I had a woodwind section. I really went for it.
Yeah. And why not?
Why not? Yeah, it's
Why
my
not?
album
It's your
launch.
album, right?
And
Yeah.
at the time you're like, do you know what? I might never get to do this again.
Yeah, well. Yeah,
I'm going large.
but you are recording at the moment again, aren't you?
Yes, just
Yeah.
finished an album
Yeah.
literally in the last couple of weeks. That is Xan Tyler and Dusty Stray. And Dusty Stray is a chap called Jonathan who is based in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
He's a Texan who lives in Amsterdam.
Okay.
And we have made this record together, and I'm really proud of it. It's really lovely. So that will come out on Last Night for Glasgow around about October, I reckon.
Fantastic. And of course,
And
and the question is, of course, what does album launch number two look like?
well, I don't know what the album launch will look like for that because that will be with Jonathan, and we'll have to, I don't know,
Yeah.
something much less ridiculous than the one that I did.
Not at all. No, go
I
bigger.
don't know.
Like the
Big
tanks. We spoke about tanks earlier, didn't we?
tanks, get the
Yeah.
tank. Yeah,
The
yeah.
nice acoustics in a tank. Yeah.
Blow some shit up. Yeah.
I've heard the worst ideas, to be honest. I've heard worse ideas. So you mentioned your bucket gigs in the past. I think Dylan and Dusty that you would
Yeah.
love to have got to. Anyone you're still hoping to see? Any bucket gigs that are still on your to-do list?
Well, there's lots of artists that I'd still like to see, but actually currently right now who I'm desperate to see is Jessica Pratt.
Right.
And I had tickets for her
That's right.
gig.
She was playing, yeah. Yeah.
Yes, and somebody got ill in the band or whatever, and it's just been
Oh,
literally got rescheduled. I got the email
that's right.
yesterday, and I can't go. I'm so gutted.
Ah,
It's in
nightmare.
July. I'm in London that weekend.
Yeah. Is she not playing somewhere else in the UK? Maybe you could find a way
No,
to.
well,
No.
I need to check, but that was all part of a tour, and this reschedule seems to be I think it's just a one-off
Right.
reschedule. I don't know. I'll need to check. I don't think it's part of a tour.
Yeah.
And I know I'll get the opportunity to see her again because she's about 35, so it's
Yeah.
not like, but I'm just really into her right now, and I would really,
Oh, yeah.
really looking forward to seeing that particular album because
Yeah.
that's been my album of the year, well, for last year.
I
Yeah.
was like that with Laura Marling. I think I
Oh,
had tickets a
well, that's
couple of.
my album of the year, last year's second album of the year, number
Yeah,
two.
it's wonderful, isn't it? It's actually my son's favourite album, believe it or not, the year.
Right.
Yeah,
Amazing.
which I
Yeah.
love that generational thing where,
Yeah.
the young kids will just pick up on stuff as well. But yeah, I had a couple of tickets to see her, and I think one was work and one was illness. And then
Uh,
I think it was the third time I got to see her,
right.
which is wonderful. So,
I saw her. I was very lucky to go to that one with the orchestral.
okay, right.
Oh, that was amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um,
Okay, I'm sure Jessica Pratt will rock up. As you say, she's a young thing, so there'll be
exactly.
plenty more chances.
Thank
How
you.
many, who would the artist be that you've seen the most then?
Um, yeah, I was thinking about this. I have seen Primal Scream a bajillion times.
Okay.
Um, and it's not necessarily because I'm a massive Scream head. I mean, I do really like Primal Scream, and I've always had a brilliant time at their gigs.
Yep.
It was more just because I sort of knew people and I always just seemed to get invited to them and always had a great night, so I always went. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I mean, I am a fan as
Yeah.
sort of, but it wasn't like, I didn't sort of stand outside with my autograph book or anything. But I just used to end up at their gigs
Yeah.
all the time and
Yeah.
always had a great time. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, they're very good live, aren't they? So,
yeah, it was
yeah.
always a good
Good
night,
fun. Yeah.
good fun. Yeah,
Good
always a
fun.
good night.
Yes.
And the other one is Eddie Reader.
Oh, of
I've seen
course.
Eddie Reader a
Yeah.
bunch of times too, and it's partly, I mean, she's amazing. I do think she's one of the most incredible performers,
Yeah.
and an amazing voice, and she's mesmerizing on stage. She really
She's
is.
great.
But
And she's
again, that was,
she's touring with John this summer. Did you know that? They're doing some
yeah,
gigs together,
I
aren't they? So,
I did see that, and
yeah,
that's really exciting to me because I think he's amazing live.
he is. Yeah.
And he hadn't done much solo until quite recently.
Mm.
So now that she's joining here. I don't know, it just feels really lovely that.
I think it is. Yeah. I'm sure it'll be great.
Oh, it will be. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think they're in England for a bunch of dates, and then I think they're going to hopefully come back up north and do some. So
Yeah.
that's the plan. We've got that to look forward to. What have we got? A couple more then. So your favourite live music venue of
Um,
all the venues in the world? What are you picking?
well, I don't know. I've played it recently, like as in the last year or so, in some really sort of posh venues.
Uh-huh.
In fact, a friend of mine recently commented that he only seems to see me in posh places, and he's like, "Well, I only do posh places, darling." Because they're all
Yeah,
quite like Panopticon's really lovely, although
yeah,
that's a little bit more dilapidated. It's still really spectacular.
yeah.
But then I did GUU, which is all the sort of
Mm-hmm.
wood panelled, the Glasgow Uni
University. Yeah,
chambers, wood panelled and
yeah.
very regal and lovely. Um, Macintosh Church I did recently.
Yeah. So
Cottiers the other
lovely.
day was
Yeah,
spectacular. Um, so I like those kinds of venues to
yeah.
perform in. Um, and in terms of watching other people, I don't really like it to be too big. And
Okay.
I much prefer a nice small venue. Like I saw PJ Harvey at what's that big place in Glasgow?
The Hydro.
Hydro, yeah, and
Yeah.
it's just
Too
like
big.
too big,
Yeah.
too big. Didn't like it. Didn't like
We
it.
seen her at the Barrowlands gig, which was just last year there, which was much more intense,
Yeah,
and
see, that would have been lovely.
it
Yeah,
was, yeah, it was
yeah.
great. So did you give me a favourite there? Because you rattled off half a
Yeah,
dozen.
sorry, did I? No, I
Yeah,
didn't. I just
you
said
didn't.
posh stuff.
Posh
I don't
stuff.
know that I've got one. Well, actually, okay, in terms of venues that I've played at, is it is
Uh-huh.
it been to or played at or
Both.
whatever?
Both.
I really, really enjoyed my time at Harbour Arts Centre recently over
Irvine.
in Irvine
Yeah. Good
because
venue.
they really look after you. It's a
Mm,
beautiful venue. It's a
mm.
really nice, cosy little theatre space, sort of with that sort of raked seating and a
Yep.
small stage, beautiful sound, and just nice people. They really look after you. A beautiful plate of homemade soup and nice salmon, proper rider, and just,
Yeah.
nice.
Good.
I really enjoyed
It's a good
that.
venue. Yeah, I've been
Yeah,
there. It's nice. Cool. We'll take that.
yeah.
Two to finish then. What would you say is your favourite ever gig that you went to?
I would
Oh,
say that was Dr. John at Ronnie Scott's
wow.
in the 90s. Can't remember exactly when. Maybe 90, I'm going to guess at 97.
Wow. That's cracking.
It was.
Yeah.
It was cracking. And I went with my friend Johnny, who was my partner in crime at the time, and sadly no longer with us actually. But we we pretended that I was pregnant so that I could guess. We got a table, like literally, like that far from the piano. And we could smell him. He was just there,
Yeah.
and he had the whole band with him. And I mean, if you added all their ages together,
Mm,
they were all getting on. But my God, could they play?
I
It was
bet.
just
Yeah.
incredible. And again, it's that small, intimate setting where
Yeah.
it was wonderful. It was a magical night. And we met him. We had a chat with him
Ah,
as
lovely.
well, which was
Yeah.
also
I think that's the first Dr. John reference we've had, I think, in all of them.
oh,
So
oh, there you
that's
go.
magic. And did you have to like pad up and stuff for your pretend?
No, I did it really
No.
rubbish. I just got rubbed my back a bit or something. I don't know. Got away with it.
Obviously you did, yeah. So
Yeah.
we'll try that again. And what about to finish then? One live album that everyone should own a copy of.
Oh yeah. So I would say, what did I think of? 1969 Velvet Underground
Okay.
and Ricky Lee Jones live at Red Rock, is it?
Yeah.
I'm saying that I don't own either of them.
So we've got to buy it, but you don't have it.
Yeah,
That's the
I
rule, is
don't
it?
own either of them, but they are both brilliant live
Okay.
albums.
But you're going to go out and get them, aren't you? Now that
Need to,
you've
I should
declared your love for them. So
put my money where my mouth is.
yeah. I
I
don't
don't
have a
actually
rig.
have a massive record collection.
No?
No, I
Why is
don't.
that? You think just through choice or just
It's just I sort of never got that into collecting. I don't know.
right?
I mean, I did. I sort of had a bit of vinyl, and and then I lost a bit of vinyl during a move. It wasn't a huge
Hmm.
amount, and then it was all CDs.
Hmm.
So I bought a lot of CDs, and then they're all in a cupboard. And now it's like, okay, do I go and buy all of that again on vinyl?
Yeah.
And now it's all available, free anyway, which, obviously as a musician, I have an issue with.
You
But
do. Yeah.
um, so yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I would really love to own on vinyl, I must
Okay.
admit. I
Well,
really would.
well, there's
But
two. There's two
there's
for you,
few
right?
as a start, but there's always other stuff to be
Yeah.
spending money on. That's the other thing.
Indeed, there is. Yeah.
Yeah,
But spending money on vinyl's good, right?
it totally is.
Yeah, totally
Everyone
is.
should do it
That's
all
your
the
plug.
time.
Exactly. That's your
Yeah.
plug.
Especially
Okay.
artists that they don't know so well.
Well, yeah, of course. Yeah,
Yeah.
of course. Okay, that's us. So that was live music and me. How was that for you? Was it all right?
Really fun. Thank you for having me. Yeah.
Absolute pleasure. Glad we managed to sort it out eventually. And what have you
Yeah.
got coming up? You got some dates and stuff coming up?
Yeah, I've got a few bits and bobs. I've got Cottiers on the 15th of March, which is a last night from Glasgow
Yeah,
night. I think
going
it's
to
a
that.
birthday thing
Cowboy
going.
Mouth and stuff are
Cowboy
there.
Mouth, and Paul McGeechan, I think, as well.
Chris, maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Chris, yeah. And then I've got 2 nights in London. I've sold out the Green Note in
Yeah.
Camden, so they gave me a second date.
I saw
So I've
that.
got two
You're doing a
dates
matinee or something, are you?
in a matinee, yeah,
Yeah.
which is very
Magic.
nice. So
Yeah.
Saturday afternoon and then Sunday evening. And then I've got a nice gig at Leith Depot with Little Sparrow, which will be really fun. We did
Yep.
that gig together in Harbour Arts a while back, and we
Yep.
got on so well, we decided to do another gig together. And then a few other bits and bobs dotted
You,
around the
you're
rest.
gigging with Sister John, I think, aren't you?
Oh,
In
yes.
Glasgow. Yeah.
Yeah, the old
That'll be
head.
great because they're doing their album launch and
They're doing their album launch, and I'm doing the third night of the three
lovely.
nights they're doing there. So I'm really looking forward to that. I love them. They're brilliant.
Me too. Yeah. Looking forward to that as well. Good. Well, it's good to see you're busy and you've got your album coming up. That's magic. So
Got that coming up, and I'm going to record another album, another Xan Tyler album as well. So it's all go.
magic. Good stuff. Okay. Well, that was live music and me. Xan Tyler. Thanks very much for your time.
Thank you.